Have you ever felt like no one truly sees what you're going through? Like you're carrying a weight in your heart that no one notices? You smile, show up, say you're fine, but deep down you're hurting, exhausted, and wonder if anyone really understands. Maybe you cried yourself to sleep or sat in silence, overwhelmed by a heaviness you can't even explain. And in those moments, it's easy to wonder, does anyone see me? Does anyone care? But this morning, before the noise of the day starts, I want to speak to your heart and tell you something that could change everything. God sees you. Every tear, every anxious thought, every moment you felt invisible. He hasn't missed a thing. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. Even when people overlook you, even when you feel hidden in the background, God sees the real you, flawed, tired, hurting, and He loves you still. He's not waiting for you to fix everything before He draws near. He meets you right here, in this very moment, in the middle of the mess. So take a breath, not just for your lungs, but for your soul, because this is holy ground. God is here and He sees you. In the middle of your pain, your struggles, and your weariness, it can sometimes feel like God is distant, like He doesn't see what you're going through. But the truth is, God is closer than we often realize. Psalm 34 verse 18 assures us that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. This is not just a comforting thought. It's a profound promise from a God who understands our suffering intimately. He doesn't just notice our pain from a distance. He is near, close to us, especially when we are at our lowest. He doesn't shy away from our brokenness, nor does He expect us to clean up our mess before coming to Him. The beauty of this verse is that God meets us in our weakest, most vulnerable moments. When we feel like we have nothing left to offer, when we feel too broken, too lost, too empty, He is right there. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus invites us with open arms to come to Him. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11, verse 28. Jesus doesn't wait for us to find rest on our own or pretend like everything is okay. He invites us in the middle of our chaos. He understands what it means to suffer. He walked through heartache, betrayal, loss, and pain. So He's not unfamiliar with the depths of what we endure. Hebrews 4 verse 15 reminds us, "For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet He did not sin." This means that when you are hurting, Jesus is not detached from your pain. He gets it. He knows the struggle of being human and understands the depths of our emotions and limitations. So, when you're feeling crushed or overwhelmed, know that God isn't distant. He's not indifferent to what you're going through. He is close, He is present, and He longs to comfort you in ways that only He can. You may not always see Him or feel Him physically, but His word promises His nearness, and that is a truth we can hold on to. Psalm 34 verse 18 tells us that not only is He close, but He saves those who are crushed in spirit. When we are at our lowest, He doesn't just stand by and watch. He acts. He saves us. He heals our brokenness. He brings peace to our turmoil. God doesn't leave us to figure things out on our own. He is actively involved in our lives, moving to restore, to comfort, and to heal. Sometimes we might doubt or wonder how He is working, especially in moments of deep pain, but the promise remains. He is near, He sees, and He saves. In your struggles, don't let the enemy tell you that God has abandoned you or that you are too far gone for Him to reach. Instead, remember this powerful truth from Scripture. God is present. God is working, and He is saving you from the inside out, even when you can't see the whole picture. This truth isn't just for a select few. It's for you. It's for the weary, the broken, the ones who feel like they can't go on anymore. God's presence is a comfort, and His word is a reminder that we are never truly alone. Every time we lean into His promises, we are reminded that even in our deepest struggles, we are seen, heard, and loved by the Creator of the universe. So hold on to these truths. God is close to the brokenhearted. He is near in your pain, and He is always working to save you, to heal you, and to restore you. He is the source of your strength, and in Him, you will find rest for your soul. There's a moment in all of our lives when we realize just how heavy the weight of the world can be. It sneaks up on us, doesn't it? One day, you're handling life just fine, juggling responsibilities, keeping up with work or school, maybe even helping others. And the next, you're drowning in your own emotions, barely able to keep your head above water. It might not even be one big thing that overwhelms you. It could be a series of small, draining moments that have piled up over time. Maybe it's the exhaustion that comes with taking care of everyone else while neglecting your own well-being. Or the loneliness that creeps in when you realize that, despite being surrounded by people, no one really knows how you're feeling. Maybe it's a relationship that you thought would work, but it's fallen apart and you're left with the pieces, unsure how to put it back together. Or it's a disappointment at a job you thought would bring you joy, but instead, it drains the life out of you, leaving you feeling unappreciated and unseen. Whatever it is, that moment can be one of the most isolating experiences we face. And when it happens, it can feel like the world keeps moving around you, but you're stuck in place, carrying the weight of your pain alone. I've been there. I know what it feels like to sit in a room full of people and still feel completely invisible, to wonder if anyone truly sees the battle you're fighting within. I remember times when I would go through my day with a smile plastered on my face, masking the hurt and frustration I was holding inside, try to make everyone else think that I had it all together. But deep down, I was struggling, questioning if anyone noticed the quiet battles I was fighting. It felt like I was expected to be strong, to be perfect, to have it all under control, when in reality, I was barely keeping my head above water. It's in these moments when we can feel the loneliest, when we're not sure if anyone cares, not even God. And yet, when I reflect back on those times, what I see is a picture of grace that I couldn't recognize in the moment. It was during my most painful moments when I began to understand something profound, that God doesn't need me to have it all together. He doesn't require me to be perfect or to hide my struggles behind a facade. In fact, I think He's closest to us when we're at our most vulnerable, when we stop pretending, when we stop trying to carry the weight of the world on our own. One of the hardest things for me to learn was to let go of the lie that I had to be strong all the time. I didn't have to have all the answers. I didn't have to be the one holding everything together. God doesn't expect us to be perfect. He expects us to come to Him just as we are, broken and in need of His grace. And yet, that's not always easy to accept, is it? Especially in a world that tells us we need to have it all together, to always be happy, to always be strong. But God doesn't operate by the world's standards. He doesn't measure us by our successes or failures. Instead, He looks at the heart, at our willingness to come before Him with all our mess, our imperfections, and our struggles. When I finally let go of the need to be perfect, I began to feel God's presence in ways I never had before. I started to recognize that I wasn't alone, even in my darkest moments. God was there, right in the middle of the mess, sitting with me in my pain, offering me comfort and peace that didn't make sense in the midst of my turmoil. There were days when I could barely pray or even form words, but I knew that He was listening to my heart, even when I didn't have the strength to speak. It was in those quiet, raw moments of vulnerability that I began to feel His love more deeply than I ever had before. And that's when I realized it's okay to not have it all together. It's okay to be broken. It's okay to admit that I'm struggling. Because in those moments, God isn't disappointed in me. He's right there, holding me, comforting me, walking alongside me through it all. And I'm not the only one. You're not the only one. We all have our battles, our moments of weakness, and it's okay to acknowledge that. In fact, I believe that's when God does some of His best work in our lives. When we stop trying to pretend we have it all figured out and allow Him to step in and work through our weakness. If you're sitting here today, feeling like you're carrying a burden no one understands, I want you to know something. You're not alone. God sees you. He sees the pain you've been hiding. He sees the tears you've been holding back. And He loves you, not in spite of your pain, but through it. You don't have to carry it alone anymore. You don't have to pretend that everything is fine. It's okay to let God meet you in the mess, in the brokenness, in the vulnerability. That's where He does His greatest work. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed today, remember that God sees you. He knows exactly where you are, and He's not turning away from your struggles. He's drawing closer to you, ready to bring healing, peace, and strength. You don't have to hide anymore. You can bring your whole self to Him, weakness, pain, and all, and He will meet you right where you are. because you are never alone in this journey.